Hello, and welcome to, I don't know, what do we want to call it? The Ogham Table?
Well, welcome to the Ogham Table at Gordon's house. You may remember me. I'm Nico Nancis, chestnut enthusiast, and here's the one and only Gordon.
Gordon Gray III, trustee of the Hicksville Garden Museum, and host of this podcast. And we're here to talk about the projects that are working on for the de-extinction of the passenger pigeon.
Yep. And right now we're just waiting on the man, the myth, the legend himself, Benjamin Novak. He is actually. I will introduce him once he comes on because
We have him scheduled for 7:10, which is exactly now, but so we're just waiting.
we're at 7:07 right now.
For those of you that are not familiar with the story, the Hicksville Museum's weekly live podcast was canceled. Although not all is lost, there is in the works a series of fully edited professional videos that are in the works, but I don't know when those are going to be released because nobody seems to be wanting to answer my questions in terms of logistics, so that's on the shelf for now. But as for this is more or less a fully independent podcast. If it gains traction, we could probably do this once a week as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I wouldn't mind that at all.
And we'll be talking about all sorts of things here at House Gray. So, what are your opinions on the de-extinction itself?
I think it's a worthwhile shot to do it. I think it's actually something that should be done. We, as a species, played God with their extinction. All unfortunately because we thought they were so delicious to eat that we wiped them out to oblivion. So, there's that bit of an issue. On the other hand, so I do believe it's worth doing. There's still a lot of things that we still have to deal with when it comes to trying to get more people on board with the idea and actually getting them to understand why it's important to revive this species or a very close lookalike, if you will, to be introduced into the environment, to do the same exact
niche.
to fill the niche that was left vacant when the passenger pigeon went extinct in 1914. So,
Wow, 1914. That really was the tragedy year of the 20th century.
well, for a number of reasons, of course,
But aside from World War I, you got the extinction of the passenger pigeon then.
Yeah.
And the loss of those delicious breasts.
You and your habits. But yes, those very delicious passenger pigeon breasts, good for making passenger pigeon pies. That's what they were very known for.
I think in the meantime, even though it's in bad taste, let's talk about some of the recipes that were used historically for passenger pigeon.
So you would have had passenger pigeon pie, roasted pigeon. They even had some restaurants in New York City selling sauteed squab or what have you, which is basically young pigeon that's just being cooked for, eating. And squab is actually still prized in many parts of the world because it's supposed to be tender, if you will. And
Speaking of bringing things back from the dead, you might have noticed that we're doing this on my YouTube channel, Kaiser Ray. Yes, I am Kaiser Ray. I guess this is officially my face reveal. So back in the past, I would actually use this channel for a lot of animations that I would work on. With my schedule now and a bunch of internal issues, I haven't been releasing as many as I would like to. And to everyone who's coming back to say, hey, let's Kaiser Ray's live. That's interesting. I haven't heard from him in a while. Yes, I am not dead, and yes, I haven't been able to make a lot of animations recently. But this gains traction. This channel will at least get a second life and being available for a historical podcast. podcast, I suppose.
Indeed.
And for everyone who's actually present, thank you for attending. I'm going to periodically getting up and checking the number. And we have no viewers at the moment. What? Oh, because is he going to be joining? Well, do you know when he's going to be joining the call?
Oh my god, he should be joining soon, mind you. He should be.
All right. We do have one like though, so that's good.
That probably was for me, but either way.
Oh, that's not the same.
No, I'm sorry. I saw 2 likes up there, I thought.
Good. Let's take a peek. Oh wait, actually, we could look at the stream and see how many people are live from here. But I wouldn't be showing that up on there. Ooh, I know what we could do. We could actually watch the stream through your phone and have that up on there. So as you can tell, this would be the first podcast of the Ogham Table, I suppose, and everything's sent a little haphazardly because this podcast here was originally scheduled as one of the this week's podcast at Hicksville Museum, but the board didn't really like the idea of live podcasts anymore. Even though it was really the only thing that was bringing in any fundraisers. I believe at the time we probably broke $400 that we raised for the museum.
That's insane.
It is insane.
Very good.
It's great for a small museum, and it's unfortunate that it wasn't really appreciated as it was. And would have been able to upgrade a bunch of stuff.
Well,
you know what was the most aggravating part? Recently, about I want to say 5 days after the podcast was news. We actually got a request for a volunteer to actually help us out with the podcast, with podcast responses. So they would have been able to help us tell how many numbers we had going on. And so this podcast would have actually been, had we continued, would have been the first one where we could actually more revive a lot of the interactive stuff where they could say. So single us how many live viewers we had. And I just let us know that way we could actually more interact with the public. So, yeah. Any word from you?
nope. Oh,
Hey, Eric. What's up?
hey Ben.
What's going on? Ah, all right, awesome. We got him up. Oh, hello.
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 How you doing?
Good.
You are on a live podcast right now.
Excellent. Well, hello to all the viewers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, let's just say the TV's acting a bit odd right now, which is strange. But how's everything been?
Great. Quite stellar this year, actually. So
I've been seeing a lot of it actually, which is fantastic. I wanted to say congratulations, and I saw the recent post you posted up about the.
Oh, it's flashing. I would full screen this. Did you drop out the?
I don't even know what the heck's going on actually. It's nothing on your end, Ben. It's more or less something on the HDMI thing over here. Whatever. Either way, but I don't want to say fundraiser, but more or less the campaign to raise more money about the primordial germ cell research.
yeah, I'll cover that later. I was able to throw that into the presentation you asked me to give to your viewers. So I've got some slides to share, and I'll get through them, and we can do some questions and answer. If you like, you and I go way back, Nico. So.
That's true. We do go way back. Wait, Gordon,
So this
Gordon,
is
get in
more
here.
casual than usual.
This is Gordon. Oh, that's my friend Gordon.
Yep.
He's from the Hicksville Gregory Museum, which is about a stone's throw away from here, more or less.
Actually, 4 blocks. 4 blocks away.
Yeah, basically a stone's throw away. But basically, they invited me to do a presentation on the American chestnut work I do on the island. And I thought, because they are basically about science, and they have talked to me in length about passenger pigeons, so I thought, why not have the man, the myth, the legend, I know back here? Which, by the way, viewers, this is the one and only, one of the coolest scientists you'll ever meet. He's the lead researcher at Revive and Restore. His name is Ben Novak, and if you want to learn more about them, they are a non-profit organization that's dedicated to advancing technologies to help conservation. And it is absolutely fantastic. The biotechnologies they are helping advance are not only helping solve the issues that we are currently facing now, but that could also help prevent certain catastrophes from happening in the future when it comes to biological biodiversity loss. You see, this is what happens when I'm running out of caffeine in my brain. My brain
That's
stuff.
the problem with doing this live. You don't get to go back and edit out the ums and the
Yes,
mistakes that we all make.
But impromptu does have its merits.
Oh, I love it for 2 reasons. One, it gives everyone a chance to see that we're all human. But 2, when you do something live and no one gets the chance to edit later, then nothing can be taken out of context.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At least in the moment, someone can always snag a snippet for later. But if you have a live interview, you can always point back and be like, that's not exactly what we were saying.
Yeah.
So live is good.
What were you saying, Gordon?
I'm not sure if they'll be able to hear you with the because unless we also connect the Bluetooth speaker as well. You want to try and go and connect that?
Yeah, let me try to do that. Computers. Maybe. I'm both tech savvy, but I also feel like a caveman once in a while.
Same, actually. Alright, so devices. Let me make sure it's on.
Audio, got it.
Alright, it should be a type of
Is it LG LA S454B 57?
it doesn't say audio device.
Connected music.
Worth a shot.
Mine's already done, so.
So it's not playing. Wait, maybe you could go change it from settings because you have it set for music instead. Use your out. Where's the sound? So change that. Oops. Oh, wait, output. That would be. So. So that's not on. It is an LG. Alright, it should be on now. Should be connectable now. Should be an option. Let's go back to connected device.
Come on. There we go.
Bluetooth.
That's one from Wilburn Fisk.
You had something from Wilmer Fist? Oh, oh my god. Alright. Yep, so you can barely hear anyone. Sorry folks about the volume.
Technical difficulties when you're not at the museum.
Yeah. Alright, let's go back on try the other one. Sure, that should work. On.
Powering on. Welcome to all decommissioning.
Alright, it should be alt icon. Oh, something connected. Oh, that's still not connected. Alright, go to
Powering on. Welcome to all decommissioning.
Bluetooth, wireless. Just no, let's go back over to add device again. Just go to everything else.
That one?
Everything else.
Oh.
Television. I think when I've edited and post on anyways. You got quite the pause. Alright,
I mean, we could just cancel the podcast and we could just do it where we could just like record the actual video and then post it up on YouTube.
I mean, unless you want to reschedule the entire thing and just turn tonight into a diagnostics running.
That'd be kind of for yourself.
Would it?
I don't want to be rude to Ben in any way, shape, or form. That's the thing.
I mean, Ben's already here though. Maybe we should. What do you think, Ben?
Well, if you guys are having trouble running it live, I think the viewers getting the best experience they can get out of this is priority. I'm happy to reschedule sometime or record it and post it to YouTube later. I don't know if you've got a way to talk to the people viewing right now and get their opinion. That would be great. I'm happy to be flexible.
Right now we have a server issue. What the hell?
You know, I think it's better that we record it and then post it up onto YouTube itself and have it like be a video.
All right, I guess. I mean, a statement for having Wi-Fi has to do with that. Ben, do you want to just reschedule for next week?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Next week is good.
Next week, same time?
Let's see, that's a Tuesday. Next week, next Tuesday will be fine, same time.
Alright, how about for you? Is that good for you?
That's probably it.
Alright, for everyone who has been tuning in live for now, we're going to be rescheduling this whole thing for next week.
hopefully with less difficulties from
Yeah.
the
Sorry, but a lot more on device to work with. Not everything's connecting right. Yeah. As you can see, we do have an expert on the topic of the extinction of passenger pigeons. And we've each taken interest in it. So, good thing it'll be next week, I suppose. Sorry about that, lads.
Sorry, guys.
No worries.
I do have to say that you do have a lovely backdrop for this. We both have the same taste in backdrops. A bunch of nice wood, a fish tank.
What do you got there in that tank?
This is turning into a talk about fish tanks. Alright, so I got live freshwater mussels. Well, one left, anyways. Some hatchet fish of the silver variety. The Australian rainbows. Neon tetras. A Bolivian ram. About 200 shrimp. About 4 black flea loaches. Probably about several hundred Malaysian trumpet snails, a bunch of plants, some freshwater sponge. What else? Black neon tetras, green neon tetras, Mexican dwarf crayfish, 2 Florida gobies, a bunch of copepods, and a bunch of silver dollar. Some
Puffer,
yes, there's a puffer in there.
my favorite.
It's my mom's favorite. He's a cutie. And the gold honey grommies.
Alright.
And there is more that I'm probably forgetting about.
Yeah. I only have one single animal that lives in my tank.
What is it?
It is a transgenic oxalotl.
Nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
Those have been getting really popular lately.
Yeah, well, it's kind of astonishing that they're available. But for anybody that's interested in a green fluorescent oxalotl, they're not difficult to track down through breeders. So, yeah. She's kind of shy. She's not going to make an appearance. But really, really amazing. I actually, my very first ever
I have a question.
independent genetic study
You have
was on
questions?
tiger salamanders.
I have a question. So is that a good only fish in the tank? Is that why you only have one?
Yeah, so a proper care for an oxalotl is isolation.
Oh.
No other animals.
That's good to know. I mean, do they eat fish or?
They will.
Yeah, they should in the wild.
And they'll try to eat anything. And so
Okay,
if you're going to put
that makes
anything in there, it has to be smaller than their mouth so they don't end up choking or having an issue. They in the wild they live in they live in canals and they used to live in lakes near Mexico City.
It's almost like it's dried up.
Yeah.
Mexico City itself and the reclaimed land.
Yeah.
And pollution and the others.
Yeah, ambastillid salamanders in general are either subterranean metamorphosed animals or when they're aquatic. They like dark, they like being in the vegetation, and they don't like being around anything else. You see a lot of pictures of them online, and a lot of people have multiples together, which is actually not recommended unless you have about 10 to 20 gallons per individual. So
Oh, wow.
And it's length that matters. It's not height. It's having a long and large area for them to be able to get away from each other is the idea.
That's
And
actually really
there's tons of
fascinating.
pictures of people of them online in like really bright lit, like densely populated habitats, and apparently that's not how you're supposed to take care of them.
Oh, sure.
I would. This does not sound good at all. I mean, if there's supposed to be an animal that, pardon the dog. Anyway, but when it comes to, animals like that like to be, specifically, not reclusive, my God.
Introvert?
But they like to be alone on the lonesome more or less. It's interesting to say the least. Solitary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, solitary.
Yeah. This is what happens when you're dealing with lots and lots of old books and stuff on an internship. It's actually a lot of fun.
You need maybe a good hour of prep for your next live.
Yes, I do.
session.
I do.
You need to be like Ron Burgundy, you know.
Yes, I
Do
do.
all your exercises first.
I mean, I wouldn't have to go through that one. I'm a little bit rusty. And I've been up since like 5 o'clock in the morning because I want to make sure I keep the traffic on the island, especially when you're going out east. It gets a bit hairy. And it's actually been a lot of fun interning at the place I'm interning because it has documents as far back as like 1600. So like I've seen like lots of deeds for like wolf bounties, and there's like the occasional like mentioning of a bear, because unlike wolves that were considered to be pests, black bears were considered to be all sorts of food or just like something you could just hunt and be like, okay, I'm trading in the fur and all that stuff. But it's interesting to say the least because we don't have bears on the island anymore, or wolves for that matter of fact. So it's interesting to see when you get like this little tidbits that pop up. I'm like,
Is there a single vertebrate other than humans that it seems to
Deer. Deer.
Deer.
White-tailed deer. There's too many of them.
There are white-tailed deer. Are you guys still streaming this?
Honestly, yeah, we are. I don't know why.
This is probably the most pointless podcast anyone's listening to.
Exactly. It makes no sense, and unfortunately, it's just very odd. I'm even surprised that. Do you just want to like shut off the podcast right now?
I mean, people want to tune in to us talk about nonsense.
I mean, I don't
That's
know.
what every podcast actually is.
I mean, when you get down to it, yeah.
I'm betraying the fact that I am not a podcast listener. I'm very happy to participate in the media and get out there, but I'll share some interesting tidbits about me that have nothing to do with science. One is that I'm actually an introverted person, which is I'm not a extreme introvert, but I'm on that side of the spectrum in the fact that I actually love social gatherings. I love doing stuff like that, but it's very fatiguing.
Yeah.
And I work from home, and I love it. Like I aside from being with my family or talking to my close friends, I'm very rarely ever out in a public setting. There's nothing at all that appeals to me about going to like a bar or a club where there's a lot of people talking and you can't hear the conversation you're having. My idea of a social gathering is if I could have some people come to my house and we'll drink and play games, watch a movie and make fun of it or something. And so I spend a lot of time sitting with, and I can't remember where I was going with this, but in general, first, I don't really like listening to other people's conversations. Like podcasts, like the going in depth and everything. Like I really like to get my stimulus through sound bites, like things that are 3 to 10 minutes long, and I'm done after that. Which is funny because I really enjoy giving talks that are 30 minutes to an hour long, and I can do a 2-hour-long public session and forum question and answer and really enjoy it. And I enjoy listening to presentations like that, but when it's like a conversation between a couple people and it's more mix of that format, I'm like, oh man, I can't do it. So my version of something enjoyable to listen to is like Stephen Colbert's monologue, you know. So.
You see, I like doing that. I love watching his monologue. I watch it like every morning, and it's fantastic. I like to have a cup of coffee, and that's how I do it.
And recently I've really been enjoying these videos by a guy on YouTube called History Matters. Just little quick 3.5-minute videos. He's got some 10-minute ones. But
Have you ever seen the Downfall of Civilizations, a history podcast?
Oh, I can guarantee you can mention any podcast, and if I haven't been on it, then I don't even know.
It's
what it is.
not really a podcast. It's more of a hour long lecture on the fall of certain civilizations.
That sounds interesting.
He's done. They're very well edited. They're not really podcasts. From what I can tell, his channel used to do podcasts, and that was the name of the channel. But now it's more. It's called the Fall of Civilizations, a history podcast or something like that.
Is it false civilizations?
The Fall of Civilizations. So he describes the certain settings to the fall of civilizations, and he puts you really in the and he uses narration to really put you in the I want to say the tunics of those who were in at the time. Obviously, tunics won't apply to every civilization.
Well, I mean the shoes.
I'm going to use tunics for this one specific one. It's my favorite podcast he did, where it's the fall of Roman Britain, where he talks about the Roman. So imagine you're a 4th century Britain. You're walking down your villa, and you come across these your village is an echo of something that once was that your family's been trying to keep alive, but it's a losing battle. And then you stumble upon the rest of what was the town, and you're going and you're looking at these pillars overgrown in mosses and stuff like that. And it's like, and he goes, really try to put yourself in the shoes of those that were there. What it was like to come immediately after what was something great, to be under the shadow of something that great, and to know that that your life is going to be much worse than anyone living there, and it's not going to be getting better for you, but you're just there trying to live your life. And he doesn't do that with every single one of them. Like with the Assyrian one, he describes a journey for a French one of those rich French adventurers in the 1800s that was trying to escape some Berbers. Not Berbers, Bedouins that his travel guide had a personal issue with. So they had beef, and they were hunting him down. And they took refuge in the ruins of an Assyrian city or a temple or something like that. And while they're hiding in there, and yet for several weeks, he took note of all these mud and clay bricks and realized, hey, I'm really far from any nearby river. And it got him thinking. And although he didn't realize it, he was in the once the city of Ur. And this guy goes into all these sorts of narrations on these lost civilizations, and it's more like a reflection of hey, those that came before us in these great civilizations that we only know about in history books, want to thought that their society was going to be eternal, was going to be forever. But the fact of the matter is, it's not. There's always going to be a rot, and there's always going to be an eventual decline and fall. And what was your life is going to be the ruins of someone. It could be hundreds of years, thousands of years that someone stumbles upon and wonders what was life like for them like. And it's an interesting series of podcasts. And I find myself listening to them all the time.
Yeah, that sounds cool. It's, being more immersed in a narration sounds very appealing. Oh man.
You guys were immersed in what I was talking about for a while
I
there.
was.
I was like, okay, I'm done talking. You guys are still looking like.
It's the trailer. You just gave the trailer free advertising for that guy.
Yeah, but I mean, I really do find like history documentaries. Like I love watching Time Team. They actually are a British crew that does like archaeological things across, the whole entire British Isles. They go to Roman villas, Saxon dove huts. They even went to Jamestown of all places. funny enough because it was it was the first real successful British colony in the Americas, and it's interesting to see, and even if you don't watch it, and if you don't watch it all the time, but to hear them talking about what these artifacts mean and how each thing relates to another, it's really incredible. Aside from that, I do love watching, just documentaries on like extinct animals or just on various, scientific discoveries and stuff. And it's all cool. So, and aside from that,
There's no aspect of history I think that isn't fascinating. It confuses me why some people aren't necessarily interested in history. And I think we live in a really amazing time where we're actually finally getting glimpses of history that have been largely kept from us due to issues of racism and colonialism.
Not just that, but even complete carbonization of certain scrolls, like the scrolls that they found in Herculaneum, where a lot of it is just obscure philosophical work, but for the most part, anyone that tends to open it was just led to destruction of those scrolls, and it wasn't until we were able to scan them entirely that we're now just looking at these stories that no human being has actually read upon.
yeah,
Since
79
yeah.
So I mean, it's really interesting to see like how it all fits in together. And why I'm actually interning, because all these documents are from either 1600s, 1700s, even up until today. It's so interesting for me to basically hold a precious document and knowing someone else a couple centuries ago had written this by hand, and even though it's probably very degraded, mind you, putting it in like a protective casement and all that stuff makes it worthwhile for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Where do you intern again?
I intern at the East Hampton Library's Long Island collection.
Really?
So they call it the Long Island collection. It should be just called the Long Island History Collection because it's covering a wide span of Long Island's history.
Well, that's something I'd definitely like to intern at as well. That seems like a good way to spend an afternoon.
Only or just a morning. However, the mind you, it's an hour and a half to get from one end of the island to the other because it's East Hampton. It's all the way out there. Like I actually just funny enough, I put up a display called "Enslaved Peoples of East Hampton." Not a great topic to talk about, but because it was Black History Month, they thought to them, the whole crew over there, they decided, and they let me in on this, we want to create a display on the history of enslaved peoples in the area. And I said, as depressing as it sounds, let's do it because history. We don't want people to forget. And
it's better to be complete. It's the time to be more to actually confront these things, especially now when we have states that are trying to actively not teach accurate history.
Yeah.
And you realize, it's very sad when you realize you turn 18, you graduate high school, and you realize that you've spent 12 years of your life not being taught history, but being taught propaganda for patriotism.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's why the 21st century is in many ways being called the biological revolution, because it's the industry right now that is going to define this century is biotechnology. But at the same time, I really think people should think of this as the beginning of a historic renaissance, because yes, we are seeing the disenfranchised peoples gaining a voice and being able to start taking advantage of public platforms to get their stories out there. We're seeing so many of those peoples now being able to tell stories in different media, not only from history, but history biopics and film and fiction. And we do have new technologies and imaging to access documents like never before, and understand more and more things from the past, and as well as the fact that we just have active researchers tying old documents to great archaeological work that is no longer being seen through a narrow lens of this very kind of reductionist European-dominated viewpoint, but is seeing through trying to do much better at seeing how it's almost like people are finally treating archaeological sites in history more like a crime scene in a science.
Then like
Just
blowing up like
taking
Troy.
things for face value.
Yeah.
Because we all know history is written by the people who bothered to write it down, and they have an agenda and a perspective. And history should always be seen as a science rather than just a recording of what has happened, because we don't really know what happened.
Just take Roman documents on Celtic religion, for example. A lot of that was meant to demonize the indigenous Celtic religion of Gaul, Britain.
Yeah, exactly, to
And,
facilitate
yeah.
the conversion to Christianity.
No, it was at first it was to facilitate the Romanization of those provinces. Even during the arrival of Christianity in the West, the Gauls were probably the most let's say resistant to Christianization because the Gauls of Trevor's and I forget which I forget the name of the valley it was, but you know the
Are you talking about the Auvergne Valley? Or?
no, maybe, but I'm also talking about the valley that the Burgundians would settle in.
Oh, that area.
Yeah, you know the area that Attila the Hun particularly ravaged in Gaul.
Oh my god. So
It's that river.
Toulouse?
Maybe. It's near Dijon.
I can't even recall.
I'm just for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to refer to the area as Upper Burgundy, but Upper Burgundy refers to a specific area.
Yeah.
But this is more of a more generalized area.
We're talking about Soissons? Actually, no, Soissons was closer to Normandy. Either way, it was around northern Burgundy.
Yeah, in around northern Burgundy, I want to say the same sort of valleys that Geneva is in.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Gauls in that particular area were resistant Christianization for a good while, and they actually continued a form of a Gallo-Roman religion. That was a combination of the indigenous Gallic religion along with the new Roman Adwash, and the Coligny calendar as a pristine example of their continuation of holidays such as Samhain and Beltane, but a lot of Roman flavor to it at the same time. What were we talking about originally? I forgot how I was going to connect this
All
one.
kinds of crazy stuff. Nobody's listening anymore. That's good for them. But I should probably, since we're gonna do this next week, I should probably get helping my. I think I hear that my sons are still awake, and they should have been asleep. So that means my wife is probably struggling to get them to bed.
You go deal with that. You go deal with that because being dad is very important. So go deal.
You are, in fact, it's your responsibility to, in effect, make sure that they also appreciate history, rather than think it's unimportant and not have anything to do with them. Next thing you know, they're throwing out historical evidence and defacing the statue of Lincoln or something.
And right now they like deep time history quite a bit. Dinosaurs are the big thing that matters.
Hey, dinosaurs are always a great thing when you're a kid.
I introduced them to what the joust was today.
Oh, hey.
Because their school needed toys related to fairy tales and stuff, and so I went to the store and I found some jousting knights and a king and a queen and a unicorn. And I thought, okay, they can do a lot of scenarios with this. But they got into the toys when they got home, and now they think they're theirs rather than for the schools. But they were playing with the jousters, so we got on YouTube and showed them what jousting was, and so they're learning little by little. But they're 3 and a half. They have no concept of what history is yet. So they just know that dinosaurs are awesome and they like animals, and they've got the knights on the horses with the big sticks.
Yeah.
I got them to call them lances, but they say lance. They're lance sticks.
They'll get there. They'll get there.
Yeah.
So again, folks, sorry about the volume issues. we're actually going to be continuing rescheduling the main point of the podcast, which was about the de-extinction of the passenger pigeon, onto next week. Same time, Tuesday, 7 p.m. So again, everybody, sorry about that. We had a lot of technical issues. We were trying to get the speaker to work so you guys can hear Ben over here, but that was a complete failure. So see you guys next week. Sorry.
See you.
Have a good night, guys.
You
Nice
too,
to
Ben.
meet you, and see you again, Nico. And okay, next Tuesday.
Nice meeting you,
All
Ben.
right, nice meeting you, Ben.
Yeah, right.
All right, see you, Ben.
Wait, you're just meeting him. Wait, you do him.
I know. That was weird. That was so weird.
All right. I'm gonna end the stream.
I think maybe the next time we should do it via my computer, maybe. At least.
Maybe, yes.
I think that would be a better thing, because if we're gonna do it online, we want to make sure that we can do it successfully.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna look at the bright side. At least we were able to do it.
At least, yeah, we were able to do that too. I mean, if we can do it off from the computer and then share the screen with Novak and stuff, and you can share whatever.
Oh no, everybody's starting to tune in now.
Oh no.
Volume.
Oh god.
Oh no, don't say anything controversial.
You guys suck. Is that something that's uncontroversial? No. Is it something that we're a work in progress? Yes. So shut it. That's all good.
She wants to. Okay.